Okay, okay.
We
That's
are
all.
live, my friend.
What is that one thing that says who?
Oh, this is stuff we've never watched. I mean, I highly doubt we watched this Ewok type thing right here.
Oh, I know what that is actually.
Oh, well, I've never watched it, so you wanna rate
Put it
it, I
back in
guess, right
put
now?
it back in the tier list. Put it back into the tier list so
Okay.
that we can
What about this one right here, the Cavern
the
of Courage?
Caravan of Courage.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's like in the Moon of Andor with like the
I've
Wookiee.
I've never watched any of these. Okay, we're gonna put them back here, I guess. Anyways, so okay, we're recording now, by the way.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of
Moist
Ismael.
Family.
And I'm just kidding. No, what's up, guys? It's been a while. This is probably going to be the first video back. I'm assuming because I haven't uploaded a prior video that we recorded because I'm still in the processes of trying to figure out if I need to edit it or just submit it all in, which I might just end up submitting it all in.
IRL.
Um, that's besides the point. So today, plan for today, Ismael, you wanna brief them on what the plan for today is?
Absolutely. So right now, guys, we have this tier list pulled up. As you can see, we're gonna rate some Star Wars stuff, movies, TV shows, games. Now, not all everything is in here, but most things that are important are here. So, yeah, and I felt like pissing people off, and I know I'm gonna piss people off with some comments. So let's
You
do it.
wanna you wanna go over all of the content that we have on there?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's just start like left to right, like here. So let's start off with first one. Let's be honest, easy S tier.
Is that the Battlefront? The
The
first
the
Battlefront?
the first Battlefront 2. That's the first Battlefront 2, the original.
Mm.
I actually played it recently with a
Okay,
friend on Valentine's of all days, and I think it holds up. I found it to be pretty fun.
this was before all of like the EA came into stuff and the microtransactions. So yeah, I
Yeah,
think that's a nice, solid way to start off the list with the S tier, the original Battlefront 2. Yeah, I
agreed,
agree.
agreed, agreed, agreed. Anyways, so now next up we got this one,
You
Cavern
should change that one
Caravan.
tier that says Dookie to just like delete or like just like pretend it doesn't exist.
There we go. Let's try that. Does that work?
Yeah, that's
All
better.
right, all right. Anyways, yes, by the way, everyone, I am using Opera GX. That's what today's sponsor is. Just kidding.
No, we are
Not
not in
yet.
any way, shape, or form sponsored by Opera GX. Although I wish we would.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool browser actually, surprisingly. Anyways, so here we have the
We
Caravan of
recommend it,
Courage.
and I know a friend of mine also uses Opera GX. Not to the extent that my friend here, Ismael, does, because obviously this man is more well versed in it, and I am still unfortunately stuck with Google Chrome, which I will need to definitely
Hmm.
see if I can change in a bit. All right, let's move on to our next
Caravan of
project or
Courage.
content.
I've never
The
watched this.
Caravan of Courage. I actually watched this like months back. It is so cheesy and like it's really like weirdly written too because it's like it wants to be its own thing, but you just can't help but to like connect it with the Star Wars things. So it basically just follows a family whose spaceship crashes into Endor, the moon of Endor,
I'm
which
already
is,
falling asleep.
anyways, the spaceship crashes into the forest moon of Endor, and the family is basically separated. So the main protagonist is a teenage boy and his little sister. They are separated from their parents, and they find themselves near the furry warriors of Endor named Ewoks, which many
Ah,
of you
yes.
who might be watching my show don't know who they are. They're basically just really small, really cuddly, really dangerous, and like actually, s- fun fact, they might genuinely be cannibals, seen as they do eat the stormtroopers, I believe, at the end of the A New Hope.
They do.
Or no, no,
Or
no,
Return of
not
the
no,
Jedi.
yeah, Return of the Jedi. That was Return of the Jedi. My bad. Anyways, it is really bad. I think it's really cheesy. The actors give it their all. It doesn't do very well though.
Bummers.
So I think for that, I'm gonna have to put it in the Who tier,
The
because
Who
I
tier.
know that not everyone has seen that, and I'm pretty sure that anyone who watches this only ever really knows like the really basic Star Wars stuff, so I can't really blame them for not watching Caravan of Hope or Courage.
If you were to put it in an actual ranking, what where would you put it? Like C or D?
Yeah, okay, so if we didn't have the Who ranking, I'd probably put that at like Die or something.
Is it really that bad?
It's pretty bad. It's like if you thought like um what's a bad movie? What's a really bad movie?
Son of the Mask.
If you thought Son of the Mask was bad, this is almost at that level of bad.
Oh, that's not fun.
All right, let's move on to our
All
next
right.
project. You want to
Well,
or actually you haven't seen this one either, so.
yeah, I haven't seen this one either. Ewoks. This one. I don't know. I never watched it either.
Wait, sorry, can you repeat what you just said?
I said Ewoks. Never watched it either.
What was it? Ewoks the Battle of Endor, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, so this is just another. I don't know why Star Wars or Lucasfilms went through this like really weird phase of just like trying to pump out Ewok content. I guess because it's sold maybe for like toys or like products, but this was just a really bad way to like go about it. Especially because a lot. Okay, in this one at least it does get better. This movie is actually kind of good
Uh-huh.
in its own really weird way. So it came out, I think, in like 1985. Obviously, not the best way to start off, especially because in the 80s it was all just like action and stuff. So there aren't really any Rotten Tomatoes reviews on here, but according to people who have watched it, myself included, it does get pretty bland and it does get pretty boring, especially because we don't follow any of like the main Star Wars characters or Star Wars characters. So it does get pretty goofy, except for the end. The ending is pretty cool. It just includes this really massive, big scale sized battle. Um, so that's pretty cool. So for that, I guess we could just put it that like on D, because it is a lot better than Caravan of Courage.
All right. Well, I don't know what the hell those are, but great. Anyways. Oh my god.
No,
Anyways.
no.
It's a
Okay,
guilty pleasure of
this,
mine.
this might be a bit
Oh,
controversial, but I strongly believe that Battlefront 2 is in either B tier or A tier.
okay. I'm actually okay with I'm okay
Primarily,
with B tier.
primarily for the sole purpose of when it first launched. When it first launched, that this
Microtransactions up in
game
the
was so fucking garbage that I can't even put into words how like actual how actually bad it was. Like if you thought that like the Son of the Mask was bad, playing this game just felt like cancer.
no. Let's rewind a bit. If you thought playing The Last of Us Part 2 was bad, then Battlefront 2 is worse.
No, because Last of Us 2 at least has some redeeming qualities. The whole Ellie love story was pretty well written, I think, except when she just abandoned that for no reason other than
Yeah.
to go and try to get revenge. That was pretty stupid, I believe. Um, not The Last of Us. Last of Us Part 2 at least had some redeeming qualities. What's a really shit game? If you thought playing the first
Sonic 06, have you ever played that one?
no, but
I'm
if
one of
you
the
thought
unfortunate few that actually own the game, and believe it or not, I've come to find out, obviously, when I got older, I own one of, and this is true, it's on like everyone's list. I own one of the worst video games of all time. So I'm not saying Battlefront 2 is worse than that because let me tell you, Sonic 06 is way worse. From what I played as a kid, it was way worse. But like I'd say like when Battlefront 2 first started, I'd say like it's like 10 notches above Sonic 06. Is it as bad as it? No, but it was pretty bad because of the microtransactions. And I'll be honest, like with the story, I thought the story was okay. It wasn't the best Star Wars story, but it was a good one that I felt was entertaining enough to be called a Star Wars story. So I was like, oh,
Okay.
that's pretty cool.
I think a
Uh,
good way to like compare this would be comparing the beginning of Battlefront 2 when it first came out to Battlefield 2042
oh
because
yeah,
those two were like if you compare the way they both started, it's almost identical how absolute garbage they both were because of microtransactions. Not to mention that any time that a new character released, like when the dreaded Anakin Skywalker first released in Battlefront 2,
yes,
it was an absolute fucking nightmare to go against him. Not just because how overpowered he was, but the developers refused to fucking like fix him for the longest time. And it's so weird because now he's just like this insanely like cool balanced character. So everyone just like seem like I
yeah,
know a few people that can't even remember a time when Anakin Skywalker was like a fucking monster in Battlefront 2. It's absolutely insane how much that man has fallen from grace. I personally am glad that he fell from grace that far because I don't dread running up against him now when it comes to heroes versus villains game
nice.
modes. So that's I think Battlefront 2 deserves the B tier for that reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm a guilty pleasure of an Anakin Skywalker player. I'll admit. Yeah, I don't main him. My main mostly is Obi-Wan or Luke. They're pretty chillin'. But Anakin is a guilty pleasure of mine. So, when he first like was pretty OP'd, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna play as this guy because I felt like it.
Okay, the next one we have the original
First,
Battlefront. The first Battlefront. That's a
I'd
simple A tier. I'll put that on A tier.
yeah,
Just because of nostalgia reasons. I know that a ton of people are going to hate me for not putting it, or anyone who played that game and like plays it for nostalgia purposes only is probably going to hate me for putting it on the A tier. But you can't lie. Without the nostalgia factor, this game would definitely not be in the S tier or not
yeah,
even deserve a place in the S tier.
yeah,
So for that reason, I'll just put it in A tier, especially because of how I struggle to say forgettable because it's still really fun, but how like lackluster it felt compared to like Battlefront 2 because Battlefront 2 is still like one of the best Star Wars games that ever came. So
yeah. They should have made a Battlefront 3. Like not for like the recent games, but like for the original actual Battlefronts. Because I heard they were working on it and they had like a working prototype, but they like canned it last second.
I wonder why. I never heard about that actually.
Yeah, I was watching a Star Wars video not too long ago about obviously the video games. And yeah, there were like talks of like a Battlefront 3. They had a playable demo for the PSP and like Xbox 360, but then just popped off like the face of the earth.
Hmm,
I just said popped off like the face of the earth. Popped off the face of the earth. There we go. Much better.
much
Grammar.
better.
Anyways,
Okay.
next
Next
up,
one is the revamped version of Battlefront.
I'd give it
The
a C tier.
Yeah, I give it an I don't
It,
know.
what? Why?
I think that deserves A tier. I think
Whoa,
Battlefront
whoa,
I
whoa,
think
whoa,
Battlefront is
whoa, whoa.
only reason I'm gonna
Pause.
say this is because Battlefront has other functions that just don't come back in Battlefront 2, and that makes it so much better than Battlefront 2 for no reason.
If it's the
Like,
lightsaber clashing, then your point is
like
invalid.
for example, what are you talking about? That is lightsaber clashes in Battlefront were some of the most grandiose, whatever you want to
Grandest.
say. Yeah, it was one of the best things that could happen in the game if you were fighting someone. That and there used to be a thing whenever you were playing like big PvP areas where it was like you could customize your trooper to be like a jetpack trooper and carry and like customize their loadouts extensively. And that doesn't return in Battlefront 2, which I hate because it just makes the game seem more like reliant on point systems than it does on anything else. Like the action is a lot like slower paced, it almost feels like in Battlefront 2. Although I do love how long the matches can get in Battlefront 2. I can't lie, in Battlefront 1 they were a lot cooler and smoother than they were in the newer one.
All right. well,
So
so hopefully to not like tick you off, I guess I put Battlefront in A. For me, I'm gonna give my take on it. For me, I guess it's because I've played more Battlefront 2, but obviously, like going back to the first Battlefront, there's some things that are kind of lacking, and like it was hit with that good old EA, hey, you gotta pay to play, buddy. So I mean that kind of killed it for me, and then like Battlefront 2, like in my opinion, in my personal opinion, improved upon the things. And I'm gonna be dead honest with you. I'm gonna get some backlash from this. I did not like the lightsaber clashing.
what do you mean you didn't like the lightsaber clash?
Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. It was in my opinion, it's just it was it was a waste of time. You wanna keep like battling. You wanna keep like jung jung, and like Battlefront 2 gives you that. Like it gives you like instant fast. Like there you go. You're battling. No lightsaber clashes to stop the battle. Like
I think it's
you're
because you appreciate a lot more of the competitive side of Battlefront 2 than I do because I'd like a lot more attention to cinematography or like the way that it's directed in the actual game, but that's just me. But I respect your points. I would honestly agree if it wasn't for the lightsaber clashes or the extensive loadout customization options that Battlefront had, I'd put that at C easily, or maybe even at D.
all right.
That's stretching it.
Yeah. Okay.
Honestly, let's
Well.
compromise. Let's put that at B too. We could put Battlefront
Yeah.
at
They're
B.
good games, but well, Battlefront 2 wasn't good up until like now, like when it actually
Now it's
started getting
playable.
good.
Now it's playable and enjoyable.
Yeah. Both games are good. They're not like horrible, but they're not the best games in the world. You know what I mean?
Oh, is it what? Is that a Phantom Menace?
Ah, yes. This is a Phantom
Oh
Menace.
Lord,
All right, so we're getting into movie territory.
the
We'll be jumping back
prequel.
and forth as you can see right now, but we got the Phantom Menace. Personally, I'd put it at C tier
I'm
because
not gonna argue with that. Liam
yeah,
Neeson is awesome in the movie. I think
he
everyone does a
carries
great
it.
job in it. Yeah, I think everyone does a great job in it. Natalie Portman's great in it. But the writing and the direction they decided to take with Jar Jar Binks and a bunch of other like visual like parts of the movie, I guess that puts it at C tier for me.
Yeah, like I guess the thing that saves it is again, God man Liam Neeson, love that guy. And the duel with what's his name? Darth Maul. That ending duel was pretty good, you gotta admit.
Best one of the
And
best
the
duels
music
in
too, like Duel of Fates. I'll listen to that any day of the week.
one of the best duels in all of Star Wars for sure.
Agreed,
Okay,
agreed.
is that Attack of the Clones?
Yes, Attack of the Clones. I'm putting it at D.
Mm,
Hear me out. Okay, wait. Hear me out here. Here's my take, and then you can do your take, and we'll come to an agreement once we like figure out what's up. I when people told me, "Hey, Phantom Menace is boring," I believed them. I was like, "Wow, Phantom Menace is boring." It's boring at points, but it's never like boring throughout the whole movie. That was for me, it was Attack of the Clones. I thought Attack of the Clones was pretty boring. Like the writing was kind of whack. I personally did not like the Anakin and Padme honeymoon vacation type thing where they were on Naboo making out and like doing stuff. Like I thought that was like, what the hell are you doing? I did like Jango Fett. Jango Fett was pretty chillin'. Boba was chillin', and the fight with Yoda and Dooku was pretty. That was pretty good. And it's not in my opinion that entertaining of a movie. Like the point of me watching a movie is to be entertained and be like, haha, that's funny. But like the first time I watched this movie, I just couldn't watch it. Like I like got distracted most of the time. I looked around. I was like, oh look, I got a new freaking Amazon wish list thing to do now. Like it just kind of turned me off, and like I watched it a second time, like actually fully through without any distractions, and I just thought, wow, that movie was kind of like bare bones for me.
mm, I guess I can see your point. Yeah, I can't even really argue with those points. Although
Like,
I do wanna some when you mentioned the Dooku versus Yoda fight, I just remembered that video by Corridor Digital. And if anyone out there knows who Corridor Digital is. Basically, they just do like reaction videos to like the visual effects of different movies, shows, and like maybe even animation stuff. And they get guests on there all the time, which talk about more in depth on it. And
Real.
anyways, one of the episodes that I watched on it because I like watch their channel religiously, and I think many people, if they're interested in visual effects, probably should too. But one of the episodes they were talking about, it was episode 2 of Star Wars, and they were talking about how in the Yoda versus Dooku fight, like the lightsaber doesn't like show any light on Dooku at all. And that just like blew my mind because when I first watched the movie, I never even thought to notice that damn, Dooku looks dark in here for no reason when there's like a full-on laser sword right in front of his face like for half of the fight. He just has no light reflecting off of his face at all. And in contrast to Yoda, because Yoda's obviously a CGI character,
Yeah,
he
you
has
could
the
see it.
actual light on him. And it's just so weird to think about now. Anyways, I just wanted to point that out. But yeah, Attack of the Clones, I'll put that out. We can leave that on or on D tier, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not exactly die, but it's not good enough to be C tier either.
yeah, yeah. Anyways,
S
Revenge
tier,
of the Sith.
easy S tier,
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
S tier.
I want to put it at A.
Okay, okay. Why do you want to
Okay,
put it?
so okay, I'm gonna put it at A for now, and if you bring some good points up, I'll put it in S. Let's start off with the good stuff, the really good stuff. One of the best duels in Star Wars history. I know you said that with the Darth Maul fight, but I'll be honest, like this one takes the cake. Like Anakin versus Obi-Wan, that was really cool. I thought the beginning of the movie was really cool. Like it wasn't like the other two prequels where they're talking about like diplomatic like relationships and like hey, like the government's messed up. This movie was more action, and you could tell like George Lucas saw the criticism and was like, man, I hate people trying to talk about me like that. And he decided, hey, let me put some more action. I like the beginning dogfight in the ships. I thought that was really cool. I like the Dooku fight. That, believe it or not, like they filmed in a day. Did you know that?
I do know that actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they filmed that in a day, and I thought that was pretty impressive. Um, Obviously, Palpatine's famous. Oh, look at that! A beautiful notification. Get the hell out of here. Anyways, but obviously we had the "Do it" meme, and we gotta love Palpatine saying "Do it."
Got a ton of memes from that
Yeah,
movie.
very much. We got a lot of memes from this movie. What else? I
Okay.
loved I loved Anakin's turn to the dark side, where like he really had to like stand there watch Mace Windu almost kill Palpatine, but then like Palpatine like easily like manipulates him, telling him, "Hey man, I could save your girl," and like Anakin being the guy who cares about everyone that isn't himself, he's like, "No," and like cuts off Mace Windu's arm off, and then like flings him off into, or no, Palpatine flings him out of the window, and I thought that was pretty dark. Um, the bads. Padme was fine in episode 2, but then episode 3, she just kind of, I don't know, she seemed kind of more annoying in my opinion. Like in episode 1, I guess she was okay. It's just that like I thought there wasn't much of her, and like they didn't do really a lot with her. Episode 2, obviously, like she had more of a role because like she was in love with Anakin, and like she was in the Battle of Geonosis, I believe it was, right?
Now that I think about it, Padme is really just like pedo.
I guess
Wasn't she like 14 when
she
Anakin
was.
was like 9?
Yeah. Okay. Wait. That's messed up. Yeah, that is messed up. But then like,
Wasn't Anakin like freshly 19 or 18 in the second movie and she was like a full 25-year-old or something like that?
yeah, you're right. But like the way that these movies portray it, like obviously Anakin's a little boy and she's like a somewhat teenage girl in Phantom Menace.
My
But then in
boy,
Revenge of
that
the Sith,
is the
wait,
teenage girl.
hear me out. No, I know, but like, come on, Natalie Portman wasn't a teen. It's like casting Tobey Maguire to play Peter Parker, and he wasn't even a teen.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then in Revenge of the Sith Part 3, like if you take the age aspect out, you could like in freaking Revenge of the Sith, you could tell Anakin is older than Padme if you didn't know the ages. So like Like looks wise, it doesn't look that bad, but like when you take account the aging, then that's when it's bad. You know what I mean?
No,
I,
no,
I'm not
yeah,
saying
I
that.
guess I understand what you mean, but it's still weird.
Yeah, it is, and like it kind of makes sense. And plus, they're in space. Like you know how like space and rotations and all that, like years move differently in like different planets. So like,
Yeah. We don't need to get into science talk here, bro. We're talking
okay,
about fantasy space laser movies.
okay, you're right, you're right. Anyways, back to the mind at hand or the talk at hand. I give it
New
the A
Hope.
tier. What takes away the S tier? Well, no, we're still talking about Revenge of the Sith.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I
Why do I not put it in S tier? Honestly, again, Padme's dialogue is kind of questionable, and the dialogue just overall is still kind of questionable. Like he fixed it a little bit. George Lucas fixed some of the dialogue, but I don't know. Some of it seems kind of weird. But yeah, the Jedi Council is honestly also what holds it back. It's like like they're cool. You know, we got Yoda, Ki-Adi-Mundi, and Plo Koon on it, but I don't know, just the way they were to Anakin, kind of what started this whole shtick.
mm, all right. I guess I can see why Revenge of the Sith is at A tier. All right. Yeah. Screw
Yeah.
it. We can leave it at A tier.
All right.
New Hope,
New Hope.
one that started it all. I kind of gotta give it like A or B. It's either A or B.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, it's mostly a B. What do you? Are you okay with that?
Uh,
Or do you want to put it at A? Because I'm okay with A too. You know.
I mean, I want to put it at A for the sole purpose of like how nostalgic and like everything it launched like since that movie came out.
I mean, I guess we could put it at A. This is a really good movie. It's an entertaining movie, and like for the time, like I can only imagine being a kid and watching like something like Rocky, which was also out at the time. You know, watching Rocky and saying, "Wow, boxing realistic movies are cool," and then just immediately a year later, you watch Star Wars, and it's like, "What? You can go into space? They have like these cool space swords or something like that?" Like it's an
Yeah.
enjoyable movie. Mark Hamill, gotta love Mark Hamill. I love Mark Hamill. You know, he's a good Joker and good Luke Skywalker, and his acting here is pretty good. I like how like in this
I like
movie,
how I like how
sorry,
adolescent he is in the movie and how that
yeah,
progresses through the movies because in the second movie he's still impulsive and he's still like does rash dumb decisions sometimes which leads him to lose his arm, sure, but it fits in a character for his like inevitable like growing up stage from like Return of the Jedi. Cause yeah, I think Empire Strikes Back is definitely like an A tier. No, actually, I put that in S tier. I put Empire and Return of the Jedi in S tier. I think.
okay, Return of the Jedi is an A tier at best, no
I
S
don't know
tier.
about that one.
Fine. Okay, wait,
Okay,
no,
wait,
what
hang
else?
on, hang on,
Okay,
hang
go
on.
ahead, go
Okay,
ahead.
Return of the Jedi had a newly and like matured Luke Skywalker. It gave us a return of Han Solo. It gave us another
Yeah,
badass Leia.
yeah.
And it also gave us like more in-depth explanation on Darth Vader's character, which we didn't know before until Empire Strikes Back. And while the action scenes are pretty lacking, I think that the really like expansive one where they save Han from Jabba the Hutt is probably like one of the best parts of it.
Yeah. Okay, well, I was gonna say when we were talking about A New Hope, I was agreeing with you on that about like how with Mark Hamill, like throughout the movies he evolves. Like in the first movie, A New Hope, he talks all like as if he's an adolescent, a teenager. Like you said, he's all like, "But Uncle Owen, I can't be here at this hour." And then in Empire Strikes Back, you know, you could hear his voice kind of change a little bit. Like it's still that young, yeah, it's
Also,
still that it's still
now
that
that you mention
young yeah, it's still that young voice, but you can hear like that kind of small maturity. Like he wants to learn how to be a Jedi. He wants to learn the ways of the Force. Like he
Not
wants.
to mention that, but he's also by this point a Jedi Knight, and he's a really good one. If we take into account
He doesn't become
Return
a
of the
Jedi
Jedi,
Knight until Return of the Jedi. But go ahead.
yeah, But if we take into account like everything we know from Return of the Jedi, and we're assuming that the Luke Skywalker that we see in Battlefront 2 story and the Return of the Jedi story are like one and the same because they both carry the same outfit, they both have the same lightsaber. Um, the
Yeah.
Battlefront 2 Luke is so goated in
God, he
like his
is.
mentality, and I think that it also kind of reflects on Return of the Jedi a lot because they're supposed to be the same Luke. And while Battlefront 2 story probably isn't canon or it's not canon, I do think that
I
it's
think it
still like
is.
no, I don't think the Battlefront 2 story is canon.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I think it's not. I don't think it's canon. I think it's
Oh.
Legends.
I remember when because I finished the story mode. I remember searching it up. I was like, is this game canon? And I'm not sure here. I'm gonna search it up right now. I thought it was canon because I think I remember seeing it was canon.
Hang on.
Hang on, let me check right now. Star Wars Battlefront 2's campaign is considered part of Star Wars canon. Yeah, I knew that. See? I knew it wasn't crazy. No, yeah, it is. So, yeah, I like how what they did there with Luke, because this was the time when like Last Jedi came out and people were like, "What the hell did you do to Luke?" So I guess like EA or whoever made this game, when they were coming up with a story mode, kind of knew what was going on. They were like, "Ah, we can't just dumb Luke down like that." So they decided to give fans like a kind of little glimpse of like his somewhat Legends like appearance. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
'cause
Like,
in Legends, Luke is just an absolute unit. Dude is a monster for no regard. And his daughter is also like a monster in
yeah, you
Legend.
wanna you wanna keep going real quick? I'm gonna go get my food. My food's here, so can you like give me a sec? You can like talk about like why the original trilogy is pretty cool, I guess, still.
All right.
All
All
right.
right. Don't take too long though.
No, 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 I swear I won't. I'll be back.
All right. Well, I guess it's just me for now, but I think overall the original trilogy, which was episodes 4, 5, and 6, all a really strong, really fulfilling trilogy overall. And I think it's definitely the strongest of all of the trilogies that released. Um, I don't know why people hate the prequel trilogies as much as many people say they do. They do have a lot of strong suits in my opinion, and they do have a lot of flaws, obviously, and every movie's gonna have flaws, like no movie's perfect. But I I'll never understand why people hate it as much as they do in the like if anything I can kind of understand why people hate the new trilogy like as much as they do, but I just can't see why people hate the original or the prequel trilogy as much as they do, if at all. It's like that one saying that Star Wars fans hate Star Wars the most or something. But
I'm back, Barack.
oh cool. What?
Did you not did you not see my text? Like
Oh yeah.
Barack
But
Obama?
bruh.
Alright, see.
All right.
Right. So we're moving on to the next movies. Next
Oh,
trilogy.
the dreaded
Yeah.
new trilogy or the yeah. Okay, starting
Also,
off with Force Awakens.
sorry if y'all hear chewing. I'm eating my food right now. Scrumptious.
I'm sure they don't really mind. All right. Starting off with the Force Awakens.
I'm gonna a C. It's good.
No, no. I
What?
think that deserves B. I think that definitely deserves B because
It did
it had a
set
lot
up.
of it set up a really like good. It had a really good starting point, and then it just all fucking went downhill for no reason. Like they were like, yeah, this is it. This is gonna be how it comes, and then they just fucking threw it away somehow. I don't
Yeah.
know how they fall from grace that fast, but
It was a decent movie. I like how they brought back Harrison Ford. I like how they killed off Harrison Ford. You know, it
yeah,
gives
that
like the characters some like emotions, I guess you could say, because um, you know, looking at this, the one thing that kind of makes it a little questionable is how who's the guy who ended up keeping like Luke's lightsaber from Empire Strikes Back after he gets his hand cut off? Like
Yeah, they never really explained that,
they
do
never
they?
explain that. He's like, "Oh yeah, I had this back from like 1907," and it's like, when? Since when did you get Luke's lightsaber from Empire
It's like
Strikes Back from a severed
it's
hand? Like,
like I guess I understand that he gave up the whole Force bullshit like after like Kylo Ren like threw like killed his school or whatever.
yeah,
But like why would he give away his lightsaber? That's like the staple like Jedi thing that they're supposed to carry,
no,
even if
remember
they're
his.
disconnected.
This is his lightsaber that he lost in Cloud City because he got his hand cut off in Empire Strikes
Oh
Back. Remember?
yeah. You're right. He gives that. Okay,
Mm,
I thought we were talking about the green one for some reason. I could have
no,
sworn I remember seeing the green one.
I forgot
That
the little
never
guy
comes
that
back, does it?
Is it Moss or who is it? I know it's
I
an
think
M. It's like
Moss,
Ma.
Moss Eisley, right? Moss
No,
Eisley.
not no. I'm talking about the guy who gives Rey the lightsaber, like Luke's original lightsaber from Empire Strikes Back, the blue one.
Hang on, I need to search this up now because I do not remember.
Well, good to know because
Who
I
gives Rey the
remember.
lightsaber? Maz Kanata or Kanata.
Is it like some weird creature, some like an orange creature?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Where did she get the lightsaber?
Yeah, like. Oh yeah, Maz Kanata, Maz. My bad. So it was weird, like the way like Ray, Finn, and like Han were chilling, and then she's like, "Oh yeah, I found this from like God knows when. Like, where did you get that? It was like severed off Luke's arm. Like, did you just somehow happen to go to Cloud City and it just fell on your head somehow or something?"
Exactly, but yeah, and not to mention they did my boy John Boyega so bad in the new Star Wars trilogy.
Oh
That
yeah,
dude, they Finn deserves so much fucking better for the new trilogy. They
yeah,
had him in the posters. They gave him billboards. They gave him trailer action. They were gonna make him. They even fucking made him force sensitive. And then they were like, "Oh no, yeah, he's just like there.
yeah,
That's it.
right, yeah,
He just
yeah,
shoots guns. That's it."
yeah. Like I felt like Ray and Finn if they had like if Ryan Johnson didn't come in to direct The Last Jedi, I felt like J.J. Abrams had an idea to have both of them be the next generation of Jedi and both be trained by Luke and be like the next like two duos that like were supposed to be Padawans or something like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, cause like that was a really missed mark, and I don't understand why they went in that direction either. Because Finn was already the more experienced combatant, so it would have made a
Exactly.
lot more sense for him to be the first one to wield Luke's lightsaber. I'm still I respect that they went with Rey, but I don't respect what they did with either of the characters. Though I can wholeheartedly say that the only reason that the new trilogy is even competent is because of the dedication and the acting prowess that Adam Driver and the other actors respectfully put into their roles. Because
Yeah.
I think that is probably like the strongest thing in the new trilogy is the acting and how the actors are able to like how the actors are able to like actually come back from these really cringy moments and just be like and you're not like actively cringing in the movie is just like okay, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
like
right?
like when Adam Driver in the first movie or in the Force Awakens movie, they were like in the snowy forest of Starkiller Base, and Adam Driver's like confronting both Ray and Finn, and you can actually tell or you can actually like feel how aggressive and like how like violent and angry Kylo Ren is. Like you
Not
feel
to
that and you're
mention,
like, cool, that's badass. Like I want to see more of this guy. And then they
yeah.
just make him like a really weird weeb emo kid out of nowhere in the second movie,
Yeah,
and
he's
it's just
like
like what the fuck?
you gotta
And then
my favorite scene, and obviously it's a meme now, where he's like, fire every cannon we have at that man. More! Like
or And then not even that, they had the gall, not even the balls. They had the gall to just throw in the fucking weird Kylo Ren Rey like relationship bullshit thing. Like, oh, I'm the one that's supposed to drag him out of the light. Like, no.
Yeah.
You're
It was
not.
weird.
The whole point of these movies was that Kylo Ren was supposed to come back to the light because of his mother, not you, not Han. His mother was supposed to be the catalyst that brings him back. You were just supposed to be there, and Han was just supposed to be part of the reason why he comes back.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna put Last Jedi in S tier, and we're gonna put.
You
I'm just
better.
kidding. I was just kidding. Both and die. Okay. So
Let's
I
get away before we talk in any of this. Does anyone actually remember the throne room scene where it's supposed to be this really big, like awesome fucking fight room, and everyone is just doing the most god awful fucking fighting in
right.
the whole. It's like I could remember for like a split second there when this movie first released, everyone was so hyped about the throne room scene, and then Corridor Digital made a video about it with the stuntman, and they pointed out everything, and I was like, holy shit, this
Oh
scene is
Lord.
awful. They pointed out everything, and looking at it, you can tell that this fight was not meant to be in the movie. And even if it was, this fight shouldn't have made it past the director's cut or like into the final fucking project,
Yeah.
because it is so weirdly designed where it's like for some reason there's just a lot of unnecessary spinning in the fucking
Right.
in the fight scene too. It's so weird. Like
Like
I
stand still, bro.
I
Chill.
vividly remember that Kylo Ren and Rey were like about to get like ganged up on by all of the royal guards. I think that's what they're called, right? The royal
Yeah.
guards, the ones that are in red.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they're getting like all ganged up by them. And then for some reason Rey just kicks one of them, and that causes like two of them to fly back, spin around, and then go at them again. Like,
Right.
what the fuck? Anyways, not just that. Um,
Luke
story wise,
Skywalker. Let's bring in the
yeah, yeah.
elephant in the room. Luke Skywalker
Luke Skywalker.
completely
That is not the Luke
massacred
Skywalker.
the man.
That is not the Luke Skywalker that we ever came to know.
Yeah,
I don't
like
care what anyone says. That is not the same Luke Skywalker from the original trilogy. The the Luke Skywalker wouldn't. I get this is supposed to be like, oh yeah, I'm depressed now because Kylo Ren or Ben Solo just like destroyed my entire school and like abandoned me and a bunch of stuff. So now I'm really sad.
yeah.
But the whole thing with Luke is that he was supposed to be the optimistic guy. Like he was supposed to be the guy
He was
who
supposed to be.
always knew.
He's a spark of hope. He's a spark of optimism. That was his
Yeah,
whole like
that was his whole thing.
point of his
That's why the
character.
first movie is called A New Hope,
Yeah.
and they end up throwing all of that shit away, and it's
Yeah.
just so weird. Um,
The story you were saying, by the way, before I interrupted.
um, yeah, The Last Jedi. This is The Last Jedi, right? The Last Jedi.
Yes, this is the Last Jedi.
Yeah, I can't even remember the fucking name anymore. But they all in this movie they also introduced the whole Ray X Kylo Ren like love interest bullshit,
Mm.
which was just like the most god awful. Just honestly, I genuinely believe, I strongly believe that the only reason that shit was included was because they wanted to have Adam Driver shirtless in the fucking movie. That is the
Real.
only reason why they wanted to put that in the movie. They were just like, okay, we have an attractive male lead. Let's put the female attractive lead with him.
Better.
And they were like, oh my god, I just discovered the holy grail in writing. This is it. They genuinely thought, yep, this shit is fire. Let's go with this. Let's do it. And
Real.
and then what just happened? You're just there, like witnessing the most atrocious piece of fiction that ever. It honestly, I can't even compare it to like any of the other Star Wars content. This is literal. Just they hired someone from like Wattpad to write the script to this movie.
I saw a review saying the exact same thing.
You saw that review where it was like some
Cosmonaut
guy
Quickie?
yeah.
Yeah, I watched him too. Yeah, I watched that.
So, dude, they it's literally just they hired a Wattpad kid to write the script to The Last Jedi, and it is so bad in so many ways. But they have pretty cool acting. Leia does a
It
great
was
job in this
alright.
movie. Poe Dameron also always pretty cool.
They
Um,
can fly
they
now. They
they
fly
do
now.
no, that's in the second. That's in the third movie, I
I know,
think.
I know, I know. But I just found it to be
Anyways,
funny.
um,
Rise of
yeah.
Skywalker.
Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker can go die. Um,
They're pretty bad. Like, okay,
here
I'm just gonna talk
Ray.
about.
Wait, hang on.
Okay, okay.
The Ray character. Let's just point it out. Mary Sue. That's all she is. She's supposed to be this
Oh yeah,
perfect, flawless, like no nonsense kind of girl who has no flaws about her whatsoever. And I think that's why they fucked it up so much. They try to write a character with absolutely no flaws without thinking about any of the repercussions that it was going to have going forward. They just gave her like everything. They were just like, "Yep, she's a master at a lightsaber now. Yep, she's a master at the force now.
yeah.
Fuck training and all of that. Who needs that? It's not like Luke Skywalker had a training arc or something, knowing full fucking well he had a training arc in like two fucking movies, two
Real.
full feature length movies. But
I agree with that.
Ray Skywalker, I genuinely believe one of the worst Star Wars characters. All props to Daisy Ridley because I love her acting, but the Ray character is just really badly written in my opinion, and I know a bunch of other people are also going to agree with me. I don't even care, like if that like gets people mad because I know in my heart this character deserves so much better than what it got.
Very much so.
Same thing for Adam Driver and John Boyega and Poe Dameron.
Bro, what?
Literally all of the characters.
Rise of Skywalker. I just want to say a
I
few
walked out of
words.
that movie.
Are you serious?
I walked out of that movie after Han Solo's cameo.
Wow. Anyways,
No, no,
so
no, no,
I'm
no.
gonna talk
Actually, I
about.
lied. I lied. I
Oh,
walked
thank
out of
God.
that movie after Ben died.
Oh, yeah, I would too. Anyways, I'll tell you about this movie. I'm just gonna speak about it for a little bit, and then we gotta move on because like this is surprisingly taking forever. Like we just took like a good quarter of like the whole video right now, just like talking about the new trilogy. But Rise of Skywalker, I felt it's bad. Hell yes, it's bad. Um, but I felt J.J. Abrams tried his best to correct what The Last Jedi did. He tried so hard, but he just failed. He really didn't succeed. First of all, why does a knife in the shape of a Death Star ruin show you the direction of the destroyed Death Star? Like that's what was so weird to me was that Rey got a knife and then like it had like this Sith like encryption and like they had to hack C3PO's like programming so they could read it. And like, they built up like C3PO to be like this big sacrifice. Like, oh yes, I love you guys, I'm gonna miss you. And
And then they
like,
just hit him in the head, and we're like, "Oh, he's back."
oh hey, he's back. Yeah, like what? Why would you do that? Like that would have been a nice sacrifice. But like who in their right mind, I want to say this by the way, who in their right mind thought it was a good idea to carve a freaking knife out of the ruins of the Death Star? Not the Death Star itself, the ruins of the Death Star. Did a freaking what are those things called? Like the thing that Christopher Columbus was a philosophist or what? Whatever it
I
is.
don't even care what Christopher Columbus was. The dude fucked manatees. I don't believe a single word that man says.
Well, here, a philosopher or whatever. Which philosopher went to the ruins of the Death Star and thought, man, I could make a knife out of this, man. Like, and I could put like cool encryptions
Wait,
on it. Like, who?
also, you something else that struck me as really odd was that she uses the knife to find the Death Star, right?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
she
she
uses
really
the
puts the
knife to
knife.
find. She uses the knife to find the Death Star, but the Death Star ruins are like protruding out of the fucking ocean, and it's not even like hidden either. It's just like there's this huge ass fucking like almost lunar planetary shaped thing that
Yeah,
crashed into the ocean. It's so big that the ocean can't contain it. And they were like, "Oh my God, where could this possibly be? Let me use this really convenient knife with like very specific coordinates to find out where it could be."
yeah, and it's like, isn't it? I'm pretty sure like it's not that bad. Isn't it a coincidence she somehow stood at the exact angle that like the trace of the Death Star ruin like traces with the knife? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and also
Like
another thing.
miraculously, like, oh wow, yeah, it's in the shape of the Death Star ruin. That's it, right there, guys.
Also, they missed the mark with that whole like evil Ray like vision thing, and the whole making her connected to Palpatine bullshit was just even worse.
Oh my god,
Um,
yeah. And it wasn't
dude,
even
okay,
Palpatine because
wait.
apparently, no, hear me out. Apparently, like, okay, first of all, let's get the elephant in the room. Somehow Palpatine returned. Somehow,
Yeah,
can you tell me
hang on, hang
somehow?
on. Not even that. They, a genuine, highly respected, highly paid, and very expensive Hollywood screenwriter wrote that for Oscar Isaac to say on screen. He
Ugh,
said, "Somehow Palpatine has survived." And they
dude,
were like,
my
"This
Discord,
shit is so fire. This is it, dude. I'm telling you, this is the next big thing." They were so confident that we were gonna love that explanation, and then everyone was just like, "What the actual hell are you talking about, bro?"
right? Okay. By the way, sorry if y'all see these weird notifications and Discord notifications. It's because like people are weird, and I'm in weird servers. I swear to God, I'm just in weird servers. That's it. But I just put my notifications on snooze. But back to what you were saying. Um, the writing, my goodness, the writing. Like people say, oh, the writing in the prequels is bad. No, Rise of Skywalker takes the cake of the worst writing I've ever witnessed in my life.
They
In my
fly
life.
now. They fly now.
They
Why?
fly now? Like,
What was that? They've been known to
I
fly.
I bet you
They
10 bucks. It was
knew that they flew since the beginning of the Old Republic.
right, and like, I
There
bet
are
you
traces for Mandalorian jetpacks that date back to like I think even before the Old Republic. So why the fuck was it this huge news that they could all of a sudden fly? And not it's not even just us that pointed this out. The fucking actors themselves said it in interview that they've been flying like since before the Clone Wars.
right.
Why was it necessary
I
to like just say, "Oh yeah, they fly now"?
I bet
What
you ten
was
bucks.
that?
I bet you 10 bucks. They literally. I bet you 10 bucks while they were filming that scene. They didn't even have that in the script. But like, I bet like some Make a Wish kid like had to come onto the set, and then like
No,
he just said they can fly now, and then like
no,
the director was like,
that's kind
perfect,
of fucked.
perfect, keep it in the movie.
That's kind of fucked. I don't know
I
about
mean,
all
I'm
that.
just saying, it's just like think about it. Like that's not something an adult would say. Like in the original trilogy
No,
and like
you
even
don't
in the
know. You don't
prequels,
know that. You don't know that. There's a ton of goofy ass, like highly paid, annoying, dumbass adults that I can wholeheartedly vouch that they have said stupider shit.
you're right. But again, like that's
No,
not something I
it's
would
too far
say.
fetched to say that a kid would say that. And honestly, I don't really fuck with that. But it
I guess
wasn't. It was all just on the screenwriter. Whoever decided to write that shit in was just stupid as hell for
the
no reason.
prequels had better writing than that. By the way, I just want to say that. Like Attack of the Clones and Phantom Menace, as bad as those are, and like you know what, a little bit of three, Revenge of the Sith, they had better writing than whatever Rise of Skywalker was. Like I guess the one thing too that kind of like triggered me was like when she finally saw her quote unquote grandpa. We don't even know if that's the real thing. Like maybe it is, but like he says, "Oh yeah, you're the granddaughter of like one of my clones." Like, bro, you have clones since when? Like, did he just take the time between Return of the Jedi while he was dead as a Force ghost or something like that, and like Force Awakens to like somehow make like some weird pod or something? Like, I know people say like, oh, but Snoke is like a some sort of reincarnation of him, and he was trying to help Palpatine come back to the living. Like, still, give us an explanation. Don't give us like the somehow he's back. Like, no,
Yeah,
that does not fly with me.
yeah.
All right.
What is that? Jedi Fallen Order?
Yeah, all right. Let's stop shitting on the new sequels. Jedi Fallen
Yeah,
Order, easy
too
A
bad.
tier.
No, S
Wow.
tier. S tier
Oh,
for me.
okay. I was about to say, a good game. The story, I was genuinely surprised about the story because
Good
I
work on
recently,
some things. Yeah.
yeah, I got a PS5 and I was like, man, I need some games to play. And I'm more of a adventure game type guy because again, I grew up with Nintendo and I care more about the adventure and like the story. And I was like, man, this game looks cool. And my friends were suggesting it, and it got re-released for PS5. So I was like, oh, let me try this game. In my opinion, the best. Star Wars combat in the world, best lightsaber combat in the world. Yeah, people could complain that the lightsabers aren't really lightsabers because they don't cut through like people. It's just like batons as they call it. But like the combat overall is just really really good. I like what they did with the whole parry. I love parrying, bro. Like it's like the way they just handled the combat in that is absolutely amazing. The bosses I thought were really fun. Mini bosses. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I didn't like the spider in Kashyyyk, like those big spiders you fight. Those were pretty annoying, in my opinion. Like I was able to get them down. I was able to get their like like I was able to get their patterns down, but it was just like, God, what are we doing here? Like I don't know. It
I
gave me
think
trouble. And the combat was good. The story, phenomenal. Like I'm glad they didn't go for like a Skywalker story, include any big references. Like they did. They included Obi-Wan's message to all the Jedi that are remaining.
they
Hey,
included like a really subtle callback to Order 66, which was cool seeing from other people's perspective because we don't know any other Jedis that really like saw that at the time of this game's release. At least we didn't know of any other like big named Jedi who actually saw the Order 66. So it was nice seeing it from someone else's perspective.
yeah,
Also, I genuinely liked how they I genuinely liked how they had like this, was it the first sister or was it the sixth
I think
sister?
it was a third. No, that's the other. Hold up, who? Wait, are we talking about like the final boss, like the girl they were trying to save, or are we talking about like that one Inquisitor that they fought in the middle of the game
No, 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 the one at the very end that we see.
that got
Trilla.
slaughtered by
Trilla.
um
Yeah,
yeah,
that's her name.
Trilla, yeah, Trilla.
I liked her. She was cool.
Yeah, she was a really good
She was a
character.
really well written character,
Yeah, and
and
so
I
was who was the her master who um God, I'm trying to remember. Seer was also really well
yeah,
written. Like the way they
here was
hid
cool.
everything, like how she was like, "Oh yeah, I used to be a Jedi," and then like only like Cal trusts her throughout this whole like adventure. But then like when he finally meets Trilla and like goes into the memories of her lightsaber, he sees everything that's happened, and then he's like, "Oh my God!" And he starts questioning his trust for Seer because then he's like, "Did you really do this?" Like he like just the way Seer and Trilla's relationship were written was amazing, and just like it was so powerful because you could tell that like Seer really cared about Trilla that much, but at the end of the day, like she made decisions like for herself, and then like that made Trilla feel like she was alone and that she was betrayed. So she became an Inquisitor, thinking that she'd get all that power, only to find, you know, Seer again, so she could kill her. Same as Darth Vader and Obi Wan. Why Darth Vader turned to the dark side because, you know, he felt betrayed, he felt angry at the world, and he said, "Hey, let me just bring order to this, and I'm gonna find that person who ruined it for me, and I'm gonna kill them." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. One thing I liked the Darth Vader segment of this game because they just made him seem like this really like impossible monster that you're going
Literally.
up against, and I think that fits in well with how inexperienced Cal is in the game. I have the
Yeah,
game. I've replayed it like 3 times now, and I still
me
love
too.
every single part of it. Um, I think it's cool when we got that segment of Cal like as an inquisitor when he was questioning his loyalty
Yeah,
or his trust. That part was also really cool to see. And it was done well, not like this really annoyingly shoehorned in way of how they did it in The Last Skywalker. I think that's what it is, right? Or The Rise of Skywalker.
yeah.
Not how they did it in The Rise of Skywalker when it was just like this throwaway like jump scare bullshit thing where it was just like, yep, this is an evil version of her. Like, no, this actually felt important and like furthered the story along well to where it was just like